I swore I touched it. Remember, I can't see the chat when I'm on the share screen. All right, let's go back here. All right, so let me go back over the stuff that I said then so that we make sure. Two things. Number one, payroll expenses have to include benefits. So make sure you're doing the payroll, make sure you're doing the benefits. When you're doing cost of food sold, let's go back here for a second. When you're doing this cost of food sold, like I said, it doesn't matter inclusive, exclusive as far as food goes for the employees. This never changes. Never ever. You have to subtract it off to get your food sold. We calculated interest income. It was 30,000 times the 12% times 6/12. The good news is we did this stuff the other day in class, so you do have that recording. And then down here is just figuring out our payroll, the base payroll plus the 20% in this case. These are the numbers that you're going to use when you do your income statement. Insurance, just to repeat, it was a 2-year policy, started with June of last year, or July of last year, going through June of next year. So all we want is this year's piece, which is half of it. We had to calculate the franchise fee in this one. It was based on your sales, 3% of room sales, 2% of food sales. So this is our franchise fee that we calculated, and it goes into sales and marketing. And I think that catches up to what I had done. And then the big thing here, make sure you subtract these off. These are expenses. Each of these lines is an income statement. Revenues minus expenses gives you your income. Interest income, always, always, always in your income. Top section. The only thing that goes in that other income and expenses is if you sell something. That is it. Nothing else that you're going to see. All right. Are we good with the first section? So let's go down to the second section. This section, you should always, always, always have these 5 departments here. Always. Never changes. The only payroll we have this time is our A&G, and they were 60 plus 12 in benefits. So we're going to put 72. Now remember, the middle section is just expenses, which is why we add them. There's nothing else here. There's no revenue. There better not be anything here. The only revenue is up here. So this is just expenses, which is why we add them. I think maybe that's sometimes what you get confused. This section is only expenses, so they're added. That being said, what is the other expenses for A&G?
15,000.
Okay. All right, information and telecommunications. We just had a contract for
15,000.
check that one again. Wasn't it 12?
Was it 25,000?
Oh, hold on.
12 is advertisement.
You're sorry. You are correct. I was on the wrong problem. Thank you. Did I get everything else right though? Yes. Sorry about that. Okay. Now, sales and marketing. We know we have to bring that franchise fee in, right? Which was this 21,470. What else do we have for marketing?
Advertising for.
We have
12.
advertising of 12, right? Was that it? I think that's it, right? So if we add the 12 there, we got 33,470. Okay. Maintenance, what do we have?
$25,000.
Okay. And then utilities, you gotta look for a couple. What do we have this time?
27,000.
Okay, so we have electricity of 15 and heating oil of 12. Okay. Middle section. Only expenses. You're adding them up, totaling them. This is the revenue, net revenue from the top. Additional expenses are subtracted off to get your gross operating profit. Any questions on these two sections? We're good? All right, now I'm gonna go calculate our management fee. And our management fee, they tell us, is 2% of room sales and 6% of our income before management fee and fixed charges. Whenever you see that written like that, that's your gross operating profit, same thing. So we gotta go get room sales, which were the 549, right? And it is 2%. Okay. So we're just gonna do. Okay. And then it was 6% of our gross operating profit. So if we go here, that's this 318,130. Okay, gives us that. And so the two of those added together gives us our gross or our management fee. And I'm going to round up. I want to deal with cents. Okay, questions on that? So we're going to take it back over here. And that's going to be subtracted off. Okay. All right, so we knew that the insurance was 18,000. Do we have any rent or property tax? What do we have?
Property tax of 15,000.
Okay, so the two of those added together would be 33. Did we have any other income in this one? Hang on a second. For some reason, I have trouble with my Excel sometimes. Okay, so there wasn't any other income. We didn't sell anything. Okay, depreciation. One of these you had depreciation and amortization. Just make sure it's, again, this one we had amortization also. Just make sure you use every number on that list. This is one problem, type of problems that you use everything. So in this case, instead of just being depreciation, it's depreciation and amortization. Oh my goodness gracious. See, even the computer knows it's Friday. Okay, so what do we got here? Depreciation of how much?
40,000.
Okay, and then amortization was what?
5,000.
Okay, so we have a total of 45. Okay. You guys want to do a different spreadsheet? All right. Did we have any interest expense on this one? We didn't, right? So just don't put anything in there. Taxes in this case were 30%.
Can I go
Taxes,
back a moment? Is it better to leave the line there or just delete the line?
that's entirely up to you.
Okay.
I just kind of use a template because I'm lazy and don't want to retype it all. The other thing is sometimes I think it's good to just have it in there and then you know to look for it. But it's entirely up to you. I don't take off either way. Same with the other income too. Okay. Questions? So this was number 20. Does this look almost exactly like number 25?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it was very
Not too
similar.
much, all right? And so I'm gonna be super lazy. No, I already did it. All right, so this is the homework assignment. So if you have questions, ask. What I also will do when we get through with this is I'll come back out. And if someone wants to just stay on because they have questions, I will be willing to stay on until our class is over. Okay. Some of you I know are good with this. So there were some weird numbers and some of the numbers that I got in here. For some reason, there was like a 108,460. I'm trying to remember. I graded them last night. But some weird numbers, and I have no idea where you were getting them from.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You wrote 549 for rooms. Why is that if the book says 555?
Okay.
50.
Make sure you look for those allowances. So that's like to cover your returns or with your rooms. Yeah, so with your rooms, it would cover your rooms, or somebody wasn't happy, you had to give them their money back. So if there's any kind of an allowance, that gets subtracted off your gross revenues. So there was a $1,000 allowance. It was the very last number on the
Yeah, I
list.
see.
Okay, so
Mhm.
just watch for those because, you know, I have my Excel with all my formulas. So if I have to make a change, it's not a big deal. But I know a lot of you guys do them on paper. So you'd have to go back and change all your numbers. So with this one, just again, make sure you're subtracting these next three columns. And honestly, this is exactly the same number as we just did. But are there any questions with that one? This section 2 was pretty much the same. If you have to calculate a franchise fee, just make sure that when you have to calculate it, do it based on however they tell you to do it. And make sure you include it here in sales and marketing. And again, these 5 things always, always, always are here. Never changes. This section again, all expenses. So you're adding these two and then just totaling this. Questions? Say it was almost exactly the same. It's just a little bit different. The management fee calculated exactly the same as we did right here, because it was 2% based on room sales, it was 6% based on that gross operating profit. So it was exactly the same because the first 2 sections were exactly the same. The insurance, property taxes is 33, was exactly the same. The only difference with this whole problem was the interest expense. This one had interest expense, whereas the number 20 did not. So that changes your income. Any specific questions on this one?
Is this number 25 or no?
Yes, I didn't change this right here. I pretty much just copied and pasted. So this isn't Bush Beach. This is what? Kaminsky.
I might have a question, but I need a second to figure it out.
That's fine. K-A-M-I-N-S-K-I. Yep. Okay. All right, let me stop my share. So the test is Monday. I started it at 8 o'clock and you have 2 hours because it's going to take you a little bit longer to type. This is one test I will let you do on a spreadsheet and upload. Most of the time I require you to type in Venko, but this one, and I know a lot of you already have a format set up, so you get to cheat a little bit.
How many separate questions is it?
It's just one income statement. So you're gonna have to do it from scratch. Do all the
Okay.
additional information and then do the income statement itself.
Okay.
It will be plenty. Any
You're just
other?
giving us like all of the layout of the items, like in any of these problems we've done. So it's same as we're doing a homework problem. Okay.
Exactly. Yep.
Thank you for allowing us to upload it from it.
I know. I mean, this is a case where honestly, I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Get your spreadsheet all set up with blanks, and then you can just fill in the numbers. Makes it a lot easier. All right, so I'm going to stop recording.